Mark 11 Mod 1 in action. Now you already got a little taste there in the intro. There's a lot more to come in this video. So if you like this kind of content, stick around with me because I think this is going to be a really cool one. Now, what do we have going on here? You remember a couple months ago I put out a video, is this the rarest rifle on YouTube? Still can't really answer that question, but in that video I spoke to what makes this a unique and cool rifle that I'm excited to get to own and now shoot. But the important thing is, in that video I mentioned, if I'm able to get this channel over 1,000 subscribers, we'll go ahead and fire this rifle. We'll move it from a safe queen over to a shooter. We were able to do that in really no time. It happened really, really fast. So I want to say thank you to each of you that have reached out to me through a subscribe, a comment, a like on Instagram, whatever you've done to help engage with me, sharing these videos, because it's really helped me grow this channel really fast. There's a ton of growth happening right now. I notice it. We're seeing a ton of views on the videos, and I thank you for the support. Now, what does that mean? We get to fire this rifle tonight, and I'm super excited. So I had hoped to get this video out a little bit sooner following the previous one, but there's a couple things that came up that delayed it. One of which, the upper and the suppressor had to go back to Knights Armament for a little bit of customer service work. On the upper side, primarily that was on me, reloading-wise, components-wise. It was a failure there, not related to Knights Armament at all. But that said, they really stepped up big time and helped me out there. On the suppressor, not sure what was up with it, but Knights Armament was able to bring it in, look it over, and get it squared away for me. The whole process took about 1 to 2 months, so it took a couple of weeks, but when you think about what Knights has going on, I don't think that's that bad, given the order backlog they have, all the craziness in the industry right now. For them to be able to bring this upper in, take a look at an issue that potentially I created or components I used were created, I think it's really awesome, and a huge thank you to Knights Armament. Kudos to them for the customer service that they were able to help me out with. Now, the other piece is I wanted to have enough time on this rifle and experience to be confident in the performance of it and be able to speak from experience when I do this review. So I've had a couple of range sessions out here with this rifle now, following it going back to Knights Armament. I've got enough time on it that I believe I can speak well to how it shoots on paper and how it shoots on steel. I'm going to show you that tonight in real time. The other piece is there's a couple updates to the rifle since you saw it last, one of which is this PRS stock. I had to ditch the A2. It didn't work that well for precision shooting, didn't ride a bag very well, didn't fit in my shoulder very well, and didn't give me a great cheek weld. So I swapped to this PRS. Sorry to all the purists out there, this is much better for me to shoot on a precision rifle. Also, I picked up an Accutech bipod. This is the second one. I've had one on my MRAD for quite a while now that I love. So I decided to give one a try, a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter on this rifle to see how it works as a shooting platform on a gas gun. How stable can I get on that bipod? This will be my second night out using it. Initial impressions are I'm pretty happy with it. It's a nice bipod, seems to be very stable. So what to expect in this video? So in this video, what I want to do is give you a look at how the rifle really performs. What's it capable of? So we're going to take a look at groups at 100 yards. I'm going to shoot a handful of groups for you there to see what it does for group size. And then we'll move out to steel. I've got steel set up tonight at 380, 500, 730, and 1115. So I'll show you real time what the rifle is capable of for groups and then stretching out to distance. Also, I'm super excited. I've been working up a load for the 175 SMK as well as the 185 Berger Juggernaut. A little bit heavier. It's going to be running a little bit slower, but it's got a higher BC. I haven't had a chance to actually stretch that out to distance yet, so I can't wait tonight to see how the 185 stacks up against the 175 all the way out to 1115 yards. So I can't wait for you to join me in this video. I'd love to hear in the comments, what do you think this rifle is capable of for accuracy? Do you think we'll be able to make hits all the way out to 1115 yards with it tonight? I don't know. Stick around. I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you. So first things first, let's put a handful of rounds at 100 yards to give you an idea of how the rifle shoots. Anytime you talk about an SR25 or an M110, the question always comes up of how accurate is it? So I want to give you a fair look at that tonight. I've got a handful of rounds that we're going to shoot. Now what I'm going to do, I'm not going to film myself shooting all the rounds because I want to fire about 25, but I will include footage of me shooting about 5 rounds, and then after that we'll cut to a view of the target. So what I've got for a target is a sheet of paper down there with 5 half-inch dots. The dot in the center is where I'm going to fire my first 5 rounds. That's actually just going to be a generic hand load with some pulled bullets that I'm going to use to get the bore warm. Then from there I'll move down to the lower left dot. I'll put 5 rounds of my 175 grain Sierra Matchking hand load, running about 25-75 feet per second. Then I'll move to the lower right corner. I'll put 5 rounds of the 185 Berger OTM, running about 25-40 feet per second. And then I'll move up to the upper left and the upper right and I'll put 2 5-round groups of 175 Federal Gold Medal match. So you can see, all said and done, we'll have fired 25 rounds, and by the time I get to the Federal Gold Medal match, the rifle will be quite warm. So you're going to get a broad look at how the rifle performs. So from here, I'll show you some footage just shooting 5 rounds, and then we'll wrap up with just a quick target review, and we'll run through the different groups. So let's do it. All right, here's the target we just shot at 100 yards using the Mark 11. So first 5 rounds were again pulled 175 SMK that I just sat on top of my hand load. First round flew a little bit right, and the next 4 stacked in pretty much where they should be. I then moved down and put 5 rounds of my 175 SMK hand load right at 1 inch. I then 5 rounds of 185 Berger Juggernaut hand load right at 1 inch. Then I moved up and put 2 groups of 175 Federal Gold Medal match. You can see this upper left group is 1.25 inches, upper right 1 1/8 inches. It's worth noting by the time I got to these 2 groups, the rifle was quite hot and there was a fair amount of heat mirage coming off of the suppressor. So pretty solid performance. I think I'll tweak my 0 to the right about 1/10, and we'll move out and shoot some steel. So first, let's get things started on some close range steel. I got a half-size IPSC down there at 380 yards, a 2/3 at 500, and a 2/3 at 730. 10 rounds, let's see how we can connect. So I know 380 is a 2 mil hold. I'm going to favor about 6 mile an hour left, so between the 4 and the 8 dots. Impact. Impact. 500, 3.3. Let's go to the 8. Let's go just left edge, 6 miles an hour. Impact. Impact. .730, I know that's 6.4. I'm going to go left, 1 mil. Left edge. A 4 mile an hour wind dot. Impact. Impact. Off the right edge. Off the right edge. The wind picked up there, but fair amount of hits. Let's push out further. How about we push the limits on this rig? I got a full-size IPSC out there at 1,115 yards. That's a 13.9 mil hold with the 175 SMK. There's a little bit of left to right wind, which you just saw. So I'm going to start by favoring left 1.2, 1.3. Here we go. 13.9. Left 1.3. Ooh, way right. I'm going to come right to 2. Impact. 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 Off the right edge. Off the left edge. So quite a few impacts, a little bit of wind right there at the end, but definitely capable of making hits out there with the 175 SMK. I've also got some 185 Juggernauts loaded up. So I put 10 in the magazine. Let's shoot that full-size IPSC at 11:15. We just shot it with the 175 SMK at about 13.9 mils. Even though this is running a little bit slower, it's got a better BC, so this is calling for 12.9 mils, so about a mil better drop-wise. Let's put 10 rounds down there, see how we can connect. So I'm going to go 12.9 to center, and I'm going to favor 1.5 left to start with. Impact. Impact. That might have been a T-post hit. Impact. Dropped a little bit low left. Let's bump up to 13 and 1.5. The right edge. Elevation looked good. So let's go 13, 1.6. The right edge. 13 and 0.8. Impact. Impact. So you can see, sure enough, the 185s are flying about a mil flatter out there to 11:15. Pretty solid performance all the way out to 1100 yards. That's a far piece for a 308. We're connecting pretty well. I'm happy with that. So the sun's starting to set here in eastern Washington, and unfortunately that means I've got to draw this video to a close. I didn't bring any of my night vision gear out with me tonight, so I'm going to leave you with my thoughts on how this rifle shot and what I think about owning it so far. So just a quick summary, accuracy-wise at 100 yards. While it might be 1-inch capable, and we saw that in the video, I don't think that's the norm. I believe this rifle is more what I would call a 1 1/4 inch gun, 1.25 at 100 yards. Now, is that going to drive tax? No. But to me, is that the purpose of this rifle? Also, no. I am more excited about this rifle in a practical accuracy type sense, like we did later in the video. We took this rifle, shot it on steel on a reduced IPSC all the way out to 1100 yards. Well, that was a full size, but reduced inside of that. You saw me hit a half-size IPSC at 380 with no problem, 2/3 at 500, no problem, 2/3 at 730, I would say no problem, but I had a little bit of windage in there that was pushing my bullet around. And then 1100, I'm quite happy with both the performance of the 175 SMK as well as the 185 Berger Juggernaut. And you can see, we saw it clearly there in the data, the 185, even though it's running slower, the higher BC does allow it to fly a little bit flatter out there to the tune of about 1 mil. So I'm really excited about that. I plan to spend more time fine-tuning that 185 Juggernaut load because I think it's going to be a great performer. Now, impressions owning the rifle so far. I think so far I've got about 500 rounds through the rifle, combining the time prior to going back to Knights as well as after. That's not enough time for me to have full confidence in this rifle yet. So my plans are to continue putting rounds through this thing, continue shooting groups at 100 to really fine-tune my thoughts on where it is accuracy-wise. as well as out to distance. Right now, I'm not to a point where I could pick this rifle up and engage a target at 500 yards or 700 yards and know with full confidence that I'm capable of making the hit. Probably could on a second or third round, but more time and experience with the rifle will get me to where I want to be. And at that point, maybe I'll do a follow-up review video if you're interested. Also in the works, I want to compare this rifle, I think, to my 6.5 SR25. So if you think about this rifle, it's an M110 style rifle in .308. And that 6.5 upper is an M110 style upper in 6.5. I think it'd be a cool video to compare these side by side on the same day, same range, and see how they stack up in terms of drop, potentially downrange performance on something like a watermelon, but recoil, follow-up shots, groups, etc. Because I think there would be some pretty interesting takeaways if I were to put that out. Let me know in the comments what you think. And then finally, in closing, if you enjoy this kind of video, I'd appreciate a like. I'd love to hear a comment. I'd love to hear your experiences with an M110 or an SR25, whatever it may be. Let me know down there. Is there something else you'd like to see with one of these rifles or this rifle that I haven't done yet? Because if there is, I'd love to do it for you. And finally, if you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a subscribe. Anything you can do to help me engage with this channel is what's going to let me grow and continue to put out really cool content. Finally, don't forget to check me out on Instagram at Mountains Mullets America. That's been a great place for me to engage with a lot of you in conversations, video ideas, shooting questions, comments, whatever, discussions. It's been a great tool for that, and I've really enjoyed that. So once again, thank you for the time sticking around and watching. I can't wait for you to join me in my next video because there's a ton of cool stuff in the works. Thank you.